Okay, you've already seen our one-step drill resisted. Now I'm going to have Sydney and Mike demonstrate the two-step drill. It's basically the same as a one-step drill. Only difference is now we're going to add a second step to it. It's important that the athlete be able to do the one-step drill first before attempting the two-step drill. It's also important to remember that sprinting is not natural. The movements of sprinting are quite unnatural, actually, and so they must be trained. So what we're trying to do is we're endeavoring to keep the heels and the ankles low for the first two steps. So I tell the athletes to cross the ankles for 3, then step over the knee. So when sprinting at high speed, we do want to step over the knee. But at the first part of the race, the beginning few steps, we're spending more time on the ground. So we want to get power down into the ground. So what you can see right here with Sydney, as he begins to apply force, we want to be sure that the foot, as you can see here, that foot is going to be behind the hips. You can't push the hips unless you're behind the hips. That's important to remember that. Many times athletes will tend to put the foot too far out in front, and then what happens, they have to necessarily drag the leg behind. It's ineffective, inefficient, and slow. We don't want to do that. So as the athlete applies force down and back, as you can see here, the hips will respond by moving in that direction, which is what we want. Then we want to have the back foot move forward. Make no attempt to try to bring the back foot up to the butt. That's not necessary, and it is, quite frankly, it's not wanted at this point. As you can see here, he drives forward, the ankle crosses just below the knee, and at that point, we do not want the athlete to try to kick the foot to the front. A lot of young athletes will tend to do that. We want to keep the ankle behind the knee and the shin at approximately the same angle as the spine. So what will happen now is Sydney will start to push back down, as you can see. As he drives back down here with this leg, we want to advance the rear ankle straight ahead. Again, make no attempt to bring it up behind the butt. As you see him driving, that foot goes straight ahead, which is what we want. You will see some athletes that will drag the toe. We don't want the toe to necessarily drag. We want to try to get the toe up so we can begin to push again with it. With the foot on the ball, if you would. So right here, Sydney didn't do the second step quite as strong as I would have liked, but you'll see on the next repetition he will. So again, the athlete loads. Here about 90 degrees. When they begin to load, that's important to remember as well. So our starting angle for sprinting is right about 90 degrees, and you can see he's almost perfectly 90 right here. Begins to drive. As you see, the ankle advances forward, crossing right below the knee. He finds that angle, or the incline of the shin is about the same as the spine. Drives straight down, brings that foot through straight. Begins to dorsiflex the toe. Now this time he does it correctly. And then applies force again in the exact same way. And again, he advances that foot to the front. Make no attempt to hook it up. You'll see weaker athletes who are unable to generate force will tend to bring that heel high. But we want to cross that ankle low for the first 2 steps. So, and we have the athlete simply go down the track or field or wherever and repeat that same movement. 1, 2, and go from there. Okay? So that's our exercise, our 2-step exercise, resisted. Once we master that, then we can go into a full release, into a run where the athlete's being resisted and then unresisted. And after a lot of repetitions, the athletes will get it and they will start much better.